A lot of people moving to North Idaho, and frankly, a lot of people I work with that already live here, imagine themselves living on acreage. And while that is an amazing dream that I myself have often had, there's a lot of realities to that people don't consider. So I wanted to talk about a few of those things here today. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is why people want acreage. Often people want acreage for just the simple peace and quiet of having some space to call their own. It really is just something special to come home and it's your own piece of dirt, and it's a big piece of dirt, and maybe you can't see your neighbors at all, and it's just quiet and it's peaceful and it's yours. There is something about that. I don't know what it is. I'm going to call it the American Dream, and that's our namesake, American Dream Realty. But there's something about that really is quite peaceful and wonderful, to raise your family in that environment, to have animals if you want to have animals. I know a lot of people on acreage have animals, and to just have that lifestyle that's private in a lot of ways, and it just gives you room to breathe. So where do we find acreage here in North Idaho? Where are most people buying acreage if they want it? A lot of people are looking in the Athol-Rathdrum areas. That's north of Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls. And that's where there is still a lot of space left. If you look at Coeur d'Alene proper, there's really not a lot of dirt left, so you got to go outside of that. And north is generally the direction that people are going. Don't get me wrong, there is definitely dirt south. There's definitely land down towards Harrison, but most of the people that I'm working with are looking north. That's where a lot of the growth is happening, is towards that area. So just naturally, that's where people go. The Garwood area, just north of Hayden, is one of my personal favorites. I think it's absolutely gorgeous up there. You're still very, very close to town, and you can still get some really nice dirt up there. Rathdrum, like I mentioned, has a lot of space around it. If you want to go a little further north than that still, you've got Spirit Lake, which is beautiful. There's some infrastructure things there to note, which we'll talk about in a minute, not specifically related to Spirit Lake, but just infrastructure in general. And then south of Post Falls, actually, if you go on the other side of the river, south side of the river, there's quite a few really nice parcels out there that are for sale on a regular basis. And again, you get some dirt and you're still pretty close to town. So what I just mentioned, I want to come back to, and that is infrastructure and just the general amenities that you're going to have if you're looking outside of town, if you're looking at 5, 10, 15, 20 acres, whatever. I sold a 100-acre parcel recently to a guy down near Harrison, actually. Beautiful parcel. But what are the amenities down there? Well, you got to consider some things. One, you're looking at being on a well and having septic tank. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's different from what most people are used to, and so you have to be aware of that. Electrical, we have to just have access to. That's just one of those things that unless you want to go completely off grid, which I've had a couple of people do, you're going to have electrical close by. And again, generally speaking, that's not a problem. And the last thing I want to bring up is internet. Internet access will vary dramatically depending on which specific parcel you're in. And we have the advantage nowadays of Starlink. We've got satellite internet that makes it available. And so that's something to consider as well. And it works really well according to what I've heard. I haven't heard anybody complain about it, to be perfectly honest. And actually, there is one more thing I want to mention. And that is the general dynamics of living on land. You're going to need to figure out your own snow removal. Not that the road won't be plowed, but it probably won't be plowed for a long time. And what about just your driveway? If you got 10 acres, your driveway is likely to be long. You're going to need something to plow snow with. You're going to need some sort of machinery, very likely. Again, people get away with it. I don't know how, but you're going to need a tractor or a skid steer or a backhoe or something. It's just coming. When you have land, you have to have the equipment to work it. And if you've never worked land before, it can be super fun, or it can just be way more work than you're hoping for. So just consider that. If you've never lived on acreage before, it's going to come with a lot of learning experiences of if you've never run a chainsaw, if you've never run a skid steer, if you've never put up fence before, all of these things that you're going to need to learn how to do. And again, that's part of the lifestyle. That's part of what a lot of people want when they buy acreage. And that leads us into our last point of really who thrives on acreage. People that want that peace and quiet, people that want to work the land, people that want to ride dirt bikes on their own property, shoot guns on their own property, people who just want that freedom and that peace. That's really what a lot of people are going for when they're buying land. If you're trying to decide if buying acreage in North Idaho is for you, I would love to help you walk through it, talk through it, and you can reach out to me at any time. My number is 208-277-8471, and I would love to help you out in any way I can. Until then, keep living the dream.